Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. The big board is 85% filled on the eve of the draft. We're going to be talking NFL news. We're going to be doing some drafts. That's what we do around here. Took yesterday off for the first day of the Masters. Crazy day. So let's jump right into it. Be sure to like, subscribe, and if you want some great best ball rankings, find those at beatbestball.com. Tyreek Hill was investigated for, I guess you could say, domestic violence. Don't quote me exactly, but my understanding of the situation is Tyreek Hill, his wife, and his wife's mother all live with him. And Tyreek Hill is acting erratic, got in a fight with his wife, and then started to walk towards the balcony of his apartment while holding his daughter. So, obviously this is not good news. Some would say he's a little bit on the Antonio Brown path, if you would. The police did end up leaving with nothing being filed, so I don't know. Tyreek Hill, I think we can safely say, not a good person. Is he going to be suspended for fantasy football? Is probably more of our focus here. I guess my lean there would be no. He's probably not going to be suspended for fantasy football. Is it worrying that he was really not that good that year, and then this happened, coupled with pushing his pregnant wife down the stairs, coupled with all these things? Yeah, yes, these are worrying signs. So I don't really know what to do with him. He's not really moved down the market that much. If he's playing football, I'm still inclined to bet on his production, right? Like in the past, Joe Mixon pointed a gun at a girl and had all these issues last year. He played football. Rashee Rice had his incidents. He played football. Jordan Addison fell asleep at the wheel drunk. He played football. So I don't know. Even if there were something to happen here, which it doesn't sound like there is, he's probably playing football. Is he more likely to be traded now? Maybe. But what are you going to get for this head case is kind of the question. I think many Dolphins fans' sentiment is they're over him, which is understandable. Other news includes Isaiah Bond. He's being investigated for sexual assault, which is also very bad news. One scout comped him to Jermaine Burton as far as off the field issues. And I would say, the Tyreek Hill stuff obviously is worrying, but in Isaiah Bond's case, you're about to be drafted, dude. So, is it possible that he has someone who just wants to see him fail and are trying to tank his stock at the last moment and it's made up? Sure, that's possible, but I would say the vibes on Isaiah Bond are very, very bad. That being said, if he's taken in the second round of the draft, clearly the NFL doesn't care. So I don't know. Worrying news with him. Wait and see on we're going to get some clarifying info there. Joe Flacco signed this morning with the Browns. Now, Joe Flacco is very similar to Jameis Winston as far as it provides a safe floor/ceiling for the pass catchers if he had to start games, right? This isn't like getting Zach Wilson out there. which like maybe that would work, but it's probably a disaster. So betting on David Njoku, betting on Cedric Tillman, betting on maybe Travis Hunter, betting on Jerry Jeudy. All of these guys have a safe fallback option, right? So it's just a little bit more, it's a little bit more worry free for the Browns guys. Do I think the Browns' plan at quarterback is to go into the year with Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett? No, I do not. I still think trading for Kirk Cousins is a possibility. And they seem like a team, 10 draft picks. They seem very likely to be a team that, so now we're faced with the question. Let's do T. Let's do T just as a test. We're going to do T, and we're going to see what this guy does. I'll wait there, but so the Browns, with all those draft picks, I think they're a team very likely to trade back up into the first, at the tail end of the first. Okay, so I mean, I'm going to take Tyreek. Does it feel good? No, but I just wanted to see the test there to see if he would get by the drafter in the one hole. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this ADP starts to slide, but it is good news that the police left, I guess you could say. Anyways. I think the Browns are a team very likely to trade back up, take a Jalen Milroe, take a Jackson Dart at the tail end of the first. Other news that is at least fantasy relevant. Not really much. I mean, Omarion Hampton visiting the Steelers. Okay, so we can pretty much pencil in a running back landing next to Jaylen Warren, which I think makes sense anyways. Shadur visiting the Steelers. That's a little noteworthy too. Maybe a sign that Shadur's not going to go top 5 in the draft. Other than that, we covered the big news items. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Tyreek is I think he opened as like a 5th round pick in these drafts. So we can go back and look at my first one. Do a little back testing there. January 28th, where did Tyreek go? Okay, he went 3rd in this. So I might not have done a draft early enough. How about my second draft? Mid-3rd. So, I mean, if he opened there, which I think he did, the window was very small. My 3rd draft. Tyreek went 3rd. Yeah. So, I mean, he quickly rose to the 3rd. I think we're going to get some clarity there. Sadly, if there were things happening at the house, everyone's kind of incentivized to not report Tyreek to the police, So, Jamie reporting here, he has him at pick 41. And that to me is like, okay, you got him in the 4th. I get him in the 3rd. That's close enough. That's not the same thing as like 2,000 drafts having him as a 5th round pick, which is quite a different equation. I'm still inclined to believe pure fantasy production, the upside of Tyreek Hill is wide receiver 5 in fantasy, So, but I don't know. I think we're going to get some clarity there, and it wouldn't really be surprising how this goes. We're definitely not playing a morality game, though, in best ball. I have historically done that, though, for whatever reason. Just faded the guys who are reported bad apples, the Joe Mixons of the world. But yeah, till we get more info, I think pure fantasy Tyreek is, like Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, the next guys. Now, if you're going to ask me who's likely to be a third round pick next year, which this is one way you can operate in fantasy football, Tyreek, DJ Moore, Terry. Clearly, DJ Moore, Terry, Marv, like these guys are all safer in that the fact that they're young. So we're going to bet on them again. Tyreek Hill, I mean, if he falls off the cliff, he could be a 6th round pick, right? He could get the Cooper Kupp issue. Let's do Zay here. Same division as T. Very bizarre Joe Burrow draft pick by this guy. Seeing that I have T, he has Chase. Gotta slam Burrow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, last year was weird with Tyreek. Tua obviously has injury risk. I'm inclined to just throw it all away and just understand that Tyreek has been the 2nd, 3rd, 4th overall pick in fantasy. Now he's a 3rd round pick. We will do the pairing of Hurts, Saquon. Some nice negative leverage here in the sense that Saquon can give you a big week and then be a 0, and Hurts gives you a big week because he steals the touchdowns. By the way, little cheat code. You get some high quality chocolate milk. Put it in your coffee. It's like a cafe mocha. Was wondering your thoughts on Stefon Diggs to New England. So yeah, I mean, I was betting on Stefon in the 130s. He was falling for a while. I kept on taking the stab. I thought New England was kind of a likely landing spot. What I don't really understand by the market is why does him signing change him from the 130s to 99? Some of what this is it's people who weren't taking him before because they're risk adverse now willing to do it. I don't know what those people were thinking. Were they thinking Stefon Diggs was retiring? So it's not a huge logical bump in ADP. He still has quite a big risk profile. Some people are saying he could play week 1. They were also saying Jonathan Brooks could play week 1 last year, right? So I don't think it's a lock. Stefon Diggs is going to be on the field week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, etc. His stats were okay. They were still down from what they once were. So I think it's a decent landing spot. I have him ranked in this range here. Do I think his ceiling production is better than some of these guys? Sure. But in a contest where I already have a lot of him in the 130s plus, I don't really fear the FOMO to chase him up. Best Ball Mania is a different discussion, though, right? There's just a large volume of drafts where he was quite cheap. So it's like, I have Stefon everywhere. Let's find one. I don't really know how old I'm clicking, but I think it's a decent landing spot. Fine guy to bet on, but there's quite a bit of question marks there still. Okay, these are some old drafts. Here I had to go 4 quarterback. Lawrence, Dart, Rodgers, Kirk. It's kind of gross, but gotta do what you gotta do. And maybe I don't have a lot of stuff on. In my mind, I kept on taking him in the 130s. All right. Well, we only have 6 teams. Yeah, I mean it's a fine landing spot. If you don't have any Stefon and you're feeling FOMO, I think it's fine to take up, but I'm inclined to just ride it out with the teams I have him at. And I don't think things have materially changed for his injury timeline. I mean, we got to land on a Stefon team eventually. These new teams won't be it, though. Wow, we struck out because we're back on the clock. Yeah, we'll take a little bit of a Montgomery dip here. He's got injury risk too, but pretty solid guy for touchdown production. Cool, go wide receiver here. Why not? Pickens. Stacking up the AFC North Flowers Pickens T. Hoping to fall into some week 17 production. Pickens ADP also lived here before the DK Metcalf trade, so not as many teams. He lives here now, but the early teams, you're not competing with the same combo exactly. Yeah, I think Diggs is fine. He's not a guy I want to hitch my wagon to, because it's okay, if you want to tell me Diggs goes for 1,006, sure, I'll believe it. But I'll also believe that for Kirk, Rashid Shaheed, Darnell Mooney. And if you want to tell me Stefon Diggs doesn't hit the field until week 7, I believe you as well. I think Hurts drops because most people don't want to take naked quarterbacks, and if all it takes is the A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith drafters to pass on him, right? And in this case, the A.J. Brown drafter went Lamar, and the Smith drafter was probably planning to take him in the 5th, but I paired him with Saquon. And there's a lot of quarterbacks cheap. One of my other videos asked me about if I don't have Hunter. Like, someone was like, "Hey, I noticed you said you got a lot of Travis Hunter early. I don't have much. Should I chase him up or wait till Best Ball Mania?" If I didn't have any Hunter, yeah, I think it's fine. There's 2 ways you could play it. Number 1, I think it's fine to take him if you don't. Number 2, you could just wait till a new contest, a la Best Ball Mania, right? Like, you don't have to create the same 150 teams in Best Ball Mania and in the big board, or however many teams you're doing. It's okay to be like, okay, in big board I made these bets. In Best Ball Mania I made these bets, right? It's just wild, the difference on DraftKings. Like, Ibuka goes in the hundreds. Ayuk goes in. I got Ayuk at pick 120 this morning, which maybe some of that's right? Like, maybe we should be super cautious on Ayuk. Yeah, Jordan Mason, not a good fit for DraftKings scoring, goes in the 90s. if you were wondering, the big board's at 85% filled. I'll check the DraftKings one for you. DraftKings is roughly, it's a bit over 25% filled, maybe closer to 30% filled. My God, dude. How's Russell Henley playing so bad? Chalk Henley. All right, let's see here. This is the range where all of the quarterbacks are grouped together. Unless I wanted to do like Goff, Montgomery, which I don't really. Let's do Mark Andrews. I barely take Mark Andrews, but we're drafting the guys who have been good in the past. Andrews, Tyreek, Montgomery. Kirk's another guy I packed my bags on. Yeah, we'll do Rashid Shaheed. Why not? Shaheed also has injury. There's a lot of guys coming back from injury. Overall fantasy, no. Best ball, I think I have a strong claim to fame there. So a relatively balanced team. Hurts, Saquon, Montgomery, Tyreek, Zay, Pickens, Shaheed, and Mark Andrews. I know I say this every stream, but I just cannot wait for the draft, right? Like, I just can't wait to see, like, does Ramondre survive the draft? Does Jalen Warren survive the draft? Where does Caleb Johnson go? There's so many questions. I think this is a question everyone needs to. JD bunch of letters says it's hard to keep drafting the last few weeks when I look back on some of the teams I drafted early. Literally Bijan Ginty, Gibbs Ginty type teams with round 20 RJ Harvey. Right? So, yeah, I mean, unlike most of the industry who talks about best ball, at least, I've always been team early drafting. I do think the equation's a little, like, I don't have the FOMO as much in the big board just because of how many bad picks there are. There are inherently just going to be way more landmines throughout the rounds like 3 through 10 that we're drafting right now that post draft are going to go way down in value, right? Like, just play a couple what ifs in your mind. What if Chase Brown? What if the Bengals select Hampton, right? What if the 49ers take Ginty? What if what if Caleb Johnson goes round 5? What if Hampton goes round 2, right? What if so there's so many guys who could go, what if the Patriots select Ginty 5 overall, right? There's so many guys who are just going to tank teams that rookies included, that I still like the teams I'm making, and I still don't think some players are being valued properly. Right? Like, okay, you have round 20 RJ Harvey. He goes in the 15th round. That does not make a difference to me at all. Let's take Tucker Kraft. Right? Like, imagine you show up week. Yeah, and we take Kraft first so that we lock this guy out of Love if he's drafting logically. And his team already had a Houston stack, so. And May you could take naked. So going to stop at 2 quarterbacks with Hurts, Love. Could stop at 2 tight ends as well with Andrews, Kraft, and just load up at the non-onesies. But just, imagine you show up to week 17 and you have, let's say, RJ Harvey, and you have RJ Harvey in the 20th, who is a good pick. And I have Will Shipley, and Saquon gets hurt, and he's the starting running back of the Eagles, right? Like, there's so many iterations there where I'm just not worried about it. But if you are, no one's making you draft, Tyler Warren is a guy I'm not as high on personally. And the reason is, number one, I think the chalk landing spots are not great for fantasy. Right? Like the Colts, who, okay, little news, they re-signed Mo Alley Cox, if that means anything to you. But yeah, the Colts, that's a no for me dog. And the Jets is a pretty no for me dog as well. Just simply not betting on expensive Justin Fields / Daniel Jones / Anthony Richardson pass catchers. The other reason is, right, like, I understand people think Warren's very good, but I mean, it seems like Loveland is more of the receiver. Some people are higher on Loveland, which I'm inclined to believe in. And the other thing is, Tyler Warren better be good, because Tucker Kraft could be tight end 1. David Njoku could be tight end 1. He goes ahead of Travis Kelce. Evan Ingram, I would believe, is tight end 1. Loveland, right? A lot of these guys in this range are going to be very, very good. So I don't think I'm like getting a huge, like, you having 50% of him. Personally, that's not an edge I want to play. Like, and I think what people like you who are just keep on taking him are thinking is that he's exactly going to be Brock Bowers, which, okay, if he's Brock Bowers production wise, yeah, that's a home run. But he's a guy I'd rather just like mix in, because I mean, I really like this range of tight ends. Yeah, I think Chicago would be a better landing spot. I mean, ultimately, it's like, I don't know. That just seems like, just ask yourself, baseline, what would the production be for Tucker Kraft? What would the production be for Tyler Warren? And unless you think that's going to be like a 600-yard difference, why would you want 50% Warren and like 5% Kraft? If you just want to say, whatever, this is my variance play, if Tyler Warren's the guy you need, I win. Okay, but like, that's not based in logic, So, yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty content just waiting on the draft for him. And yeah, I like a lot of, like, Jonnu could have 1,800 yards again. Or not 180 fantasy points again. Not 1,800 yards. He had 800 yards, 8 touchdowns, pretty much 900, right? Like, he could do this again. That's a very good fantasy player. So And, I've been one to fade narratives, rookie tight end production included, but there's got to be a little bit to that. Let's see. I think we'll take Keenan. I think he's going to sign somewhere, right? Like, if Diggs signing went from this price to this price, what's Keenan signing going to do? And yeah, we'll take both the unsigned guys, Dobbins and Keenan, right? And this is an example of how you can fight against those early teams. Early in fantasy drafts, J.K. Dobbins was like in the hundreds, and so was Keenan. So, what's one way? These guys have both fallen because they've not signed with teams, but now I've gotten these guys at unique prices compared to those early teams. So I'm not one-to-one competing with them. Having a lot of Yoshi is not really the same thing as Tyler Warren, because you're fading guys in these rounds versus fading guys in these rounds, right? So inherently, the cheaper guys are, the more okay it is to take a heavy stand on them. Darnold, pretty much the same thing. He's very, very cheap. Hey, man. Flacco to Ford. Sign me up. God, the Javonte Williams people are insane. He was objectively bad. He's just objectively not good anymore. So even if he was the only guy in Dallas, which he's not going to be, he's just not very good anymore. I mean, mock drafts are a little bit overrated because they're mock draft people. They're not NFL teams. So, I mean, I'm not bothered to do this, but I'm assuming the correlation for mock drafts is 0.15, 0.2, aka not statistically significant. I think Ferguson falling in drafts is just the vibes are not good in Dallas. You got Dak uncertainty. You got just a lot. Most people are projecting Dallas to upgrade their wide receiver too. But yeah, Ferguson was a guy I bet on a lot last year. And I think if Dak didn't get hurt, it would have worked out better. Would it surprise me if he has 808? No. Right? I think a healthy Dak can throw for 30 plus touchdowns. So I would be inclined to bet on the Fergusons of the world and the Goddards, right? These guys, they're just very cheap for what they have been valued previously. With Love, no reason not to take Wicks. I think they're quite likely to take a running back. I mean, a wide receiver. But yeah, and then Tyler Algier is a very good pairing with Saquon because you take Saquon, you didn't take Bijan, so you might as well try to swing for the fences and hope that Bijan gets hurt or whatever. And now you have Saquon plus the RB2 or whatever he is backup. Yeah, I could see that and not see that. I think likely's fine. I'm inclined to regress Lamar from this level of efficiency. 41 touchdowns on 474 attempts. Let's see what Mahomes did. 26 touchdowns on 581 attempts. Let's see what Josh Allen did. 28 touchdowns on 483 attempts. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see why there's any reason to think that Lamar is going to throw for like 13 more touchdowns than his peers consistently, especially when he's been at 24, 17, 16. So, is it possible? Yes. But I think it's a little bit of a leak to be like, you know what's going to happen again? Lamar's going to throw for 40 plus touchdowns. And if he throws for 25, that doesn't lead as many touchdowns for Andrews, Flowers, Likely, etc. I would be highest on Gene T if he is a Bear. I'm not as excited if he's a Raider. I'm still taking him. I'd be quite excited if he's a Jaguar as well. I mean, if you think it was crazy Lamar didn't win MVP, I don't know how you couldn't assume it was like. I would accept that stat wise Lamar should have been MVP, but why would he be MVP the year he threw for 24 touchdowns and 3,700 yards, and Josh Allen threw for 15 rushing touchdowns, 29 passing touchdowns, more yards, and dragged his team from 5-5 to the playoffs? Like, I think those MVPs should be switched, but that's not how it's voted on, right? So just seems like it's Ravens fans crying over nothing. Like, I don't think Lamar should have been MVP 2 years ago. But that's the precedent we've set. Clearly, the MVP is just the best quarterback on roughly the best team record in football. That's what it is. Thoughts on Miami wide receiver 3? Well, they inherently both have a little bit more value in the sense that, yeah, I mean, this is just really good value for K. Dotton. In the sense that Tyreek could be traded / suspended. And I have no idea who it will be between Malik Washington and what's his face? So I think we're going to just end with 3 random running backs. Didn't really get the ones I want. And we'll do Tolbert. Same division as the Eagles, so getting some correlation, you would hope. Running back room seems thin, but going to tack on 3 guys. Just needed to work right. So Hurts, Love, Saquon, Montgomery, Dobbins, Algier, T, Tyreek, Flowers, Pickens, Shaheed, Keenan, Wicks, Tolbert. Andrews, Kraft, Otten. Who am I saying? The what? I have them ranked like right next to each other. Yeah, Nick Westbrook Akine is who I was talking about. And they win in different ways, so. Davis didn't want to take Slayton in like the 20th. And this is why, man, because he goes in this range all the time. You know, taking so many, I was thinking about that. I think it's fine to do, Shipley and Saquon. You won't regret it if like Saquon misses 3 weeks, right? And by taking, you know, I'm taking so many running backs, I'm taking 7. Obviously, I'm doing that because I only have 4. But, you know, the hope for this team is Saquon's RB1. Montgomery's hitting the lineup a lot. Dobbins signed somewhere and is actually a solid click. And then Algier and a bunch of other handcuffs, right? Like Algier's not that different than some of these guys. It's just that we're pretty certain he is the RB2. And I think my wide receiver room is strong enough. Obviously, it has some questions. Keenan, Tyreek, Tolbert, but I'm comfortable with this room. And I feel strong at tight end and strong at quarterback. And it's hard to call a running back room weak when it's got Saquon. Would you sell Keon in Dynasty? Is it Dynasty Best Ball or Dynasty Managed? Because I think it's different questions. Keon's game, I think, fits Best Ball better, right? Where even if he never develops into, I literally don't know who this guy is. Land Larison. That's the first time I've seen him taken. But even if Keon never develops into like a true number 1, are there going to be seasons where he has 800 and just 12 touchdowns because he wins downfield and he scores touchdowns? Yeah, I would believe that, right? Such as like Gabe Davis when in Buffalo. He had some good years. And Keon's probably better than Gabe Davis, right? 807, 807. So you couple that with the fact that he could develop into this 1,200-yard guy, just number 1 wide receiver. But yeah, in Manage, he's a little bit worse of a bet because it might be hard to know when to play Keon, etc. Yeah, why not? We'll go Will, Ship, and Sake. What do you think of Jalen Milroe as a dart throw? Yeah, I mean, some people are pretty into that. I still think that quarterback dart throws are not really that great. Could it work out where you get a starting running back? Sure, but I don't really see the need to do that pre-draft. It's just not that valuable if you're right. Right? Like, let's say you're right and you've landed a guy who averages 18 points a week. Okay, congratulations. I landed Sam Darnold, who did the same thing. Right? So, I would rather, like Khalil Herbert, not being drafted that often. Jonathan Taylor gets hurt. Now I have maybe an RB1, assuming they don't draft anyone. Like, you could see this being a very valuable pick. We jumped in a second draft. We pulled the 101. Oh, and look who it is. Going up against Davis here. Yeah, it's roughly 30% filled. Okay, so we'll have to be paying attention to this one. Maybe this one's going to be a wide receiver heavy one. I think Davis is live. If there was a way to combine the streams for this draft, I would do it, but I don't know how to do that. So we'll have to. What if we build the winner against Davis? How poetic would that be to look on? This is the time that you need a chat room. Thanks for the 250K, Davis. Change the stream name to Destroying Davis Maddock in a Draft. Davis and I did some random drafts against each other last year. I think I advanced in that one. Okay, so this is a data point for Larson. I still just think there's quite a bit of value in these guys no one wants. The Will Shipleys, Kendre Millers, Marshawn Lloyd, like the guys who we've been high on previously who were terrible, many due to injury, some due to lack of opportunity. It's like, I'm pretty sure these guys are just the RB2 on their team. Could they not be? Yes, but rather than taking mystery box after mystery box of rookies who, like, okay, that's nice that Josh is high on Larson, but if Larson goes in the 6th round, and I got the backup to Alvin Kamara, clearly I'm the one winning that battle, Yeah, they're bets I make a lot too. I just think they're good value, It's not hard to see how both go wrong. I did the same thing with Shipley last year. Saquon doesn't get hurt again. Okay, Shipley. You're not much, but players get hurt. That happens. Could go old man Mostert for this one. Old man Hunt. ADP has those two at the top. Gets really ugly really quick. Rasheen Ali. Zamir White. Should we take Zamir White? Let's do Estime. Keep up the theme of guys who, year 2, whatever. What a name. Wolf of Fantasy. I think for experiment's sake, we'll pass on Tyreek just to see how far he goes. I mean, I don't know if Jonathan Brooks is playing. I feel good about it being Dowdle. Brooks got hurt at the end of the season, man. Okay, so Davis doesn't pass on Tyreek. Kind of wish he did too, just to see what the room would do. Yeah, I think it's Rico, man. Sets up nice quarterback optionality. Seattle can always get Darnold cheap. Marv can get Kyler in the mid rounds. Jacobs slides in this one. I don't think it's crazy to take Lamar here because it does pair with Zay Flowers ADP. Let's check in on the Masters. Rose still leading -8. Bryson at -6. Some guy named McCarty is -4. Bunch of guys still left to tee off. RB, QB. Kyron's either a smash or getting crushed on draft night as well. Right? There are players who are inherently less risky, right? Like DJ Moore, there's nothing that happened on draft night that could crush his fantasy value. Obviously, most of the running backs, that could happen too. Some of the tight ends, that could happen too. A little bit of a Rashee Rice pull up. Seems fine to me. See this, the Lamar Zay. This is why I think it's fine. See what Davis does. All right, we will take Burrow. And let's pull up Olave. A little bit, pulling up Marvin and Olave. Marvin goes here. Olave goes here. So just examples of layering in similar tier players to get unique combos. Yeah, this is probably terrible. Gibbs, Bucky, Lamar, Flowers, Hurts. But, personally, when I take an expensive quarterback, I want a run on quarterbacks to happen, right? Like I want other teams to start panicking and having to pull guys up. It's pretty hard for that to happen because there's so many quarterbacks that go here. Right, so it's like add ADP, add ADP, add ADP, 6 picks ahead of ADP, 8 picks ahead of ADP. This is how you create some unique combos. Still rather uneasy on Debo. It's not a guy I want to hitch my wagon to. But you could see him being a good pick. This is mine 94th team, so I got 50 drafts. I think I'll get it in. I'm not going to force it, but I might just multi-table a couple days to get him in there. Yeah, I always felt uneasy about taking him, but I just did it. So I got quite a bit of cheap Rishi teams. Let's see what this guy did. This guy's the wild card. It's a lock. I mean, this guy taking Najee Harris, that was a lock, right? Like, we all knew that was coming. So I could double tap James and Montgomery. I could double tap wide receiver. I think we'll take Pickens and Shakir. Pickens, again, same division as Burrow. Shakir, unique 80, pulling up another guy. Most teams are taking wide receivers, so like Jacoby Myers getting pulled up. This guy's got a 2 QB, 4 running back, 1 wide receiver room. And honestly, with this group of 6 wide receivers, I could stop at 6 if I wanted to with 20 rounds. Could build like a 2 QB, 3 tight end room, 5 plus 6, and then just take 9 running back darts. More likely, I'll build a 7 wide receiver room and take 8 running backs. 2873. Somewhat of a rare build. Definitely going 2 QB. I've never really been a Pickens guy, but, if Rodgers lands there, I'll feel pretty good about it. I think with DK, like you can almost always build a good team double tapping running back to begin, or taking 2 running backs in rounds 2 and 3, because they're just going to give you so many wide receiver values. Would you be slowing down on Burden? Not really, man. I mean, Ibuka, Burden, really depends who you ask. If you want to slow down on someone, sure, but it really seems like any of these guys could go end of round 1. And so until the NFL draft happens, I'll mix them in. If you want to slow down on Burden, go for it, man. But I don't think anything tangible has really happened. Right? Like there is a lot of players in the NFL who have character concerns. And pre-draft, like someone saying someone has character concerns, maybe it's the team that wants to draft Burden and doesn't think they're going to get him. This guy also has a 5 running back, 2 wide receiver build. Henry, Kyron, Brees, Kamara, Jones. Terrible. So it does a little bit of weird things to the room when you have 2 guys building these like running back horde teams. Clearly in the later rounds, if these people are being logical, they should be taking wideouts. I should be taking running backs. But oftentimes when players start like this, they don't stop taking running backs. Which maybe I will take 9 running backs. Who knows? You can definitely leave feeling pretty good about your running back room still. We're not seeing the run on the quarterbacks here. And this makes me feel good about double tapping wide receiver here, because you're seeing Darnell Mooney, Jalen McMillan getting pulled up by the people that are paying attention. Kyler, I would have taken Kyler if the Trey McBride guy didn't. See, Bateman's getting pulled up, but this guy's doing whatever. All right, we'll take Kirk. He's a brand guy for us. I'm tempted to take Ramondre, just because I don't have a lot of him. But it's hard for me to quit Jonnu. All right, we have so much Jonnu that we're going to take Ramondre. And I'm going to feel good about these tight ends. Let me refill this water, folks. I'll be right back. All right. Be sure to like the video, click that subscribe button, join the Discord, links below. Best Ball Mania kicks off soon. Probably stopping at 7 wideouts with this group. Quite a lot of later quarterbacks I could take too. Darnold, Carr, Rodgers, Stroud. Yes, I do. Builds with Burrow at the 6-7. But what I decided ultimately is like these tier of wide receivers is pretty similar to these tier, right? Like Pickens, Shakir versus like, I don't know, Metcalf, Sutton. That's pretty similar. So I originally, like the market was originally giving you Burrow a lot in the 6th. So I ranked him at the 6-7, and I have quite a few teams with him here. But I've decided, like, it's just, I like Burrow. I like these wide receivers still. I like these running backs still. So, right? James Conner versus Najee, or I guess it's like Chuba used to go here versus Montgomery. Like, similar bets, but Burrow, definitely a tier above. And people know I prefer 2 QB builds. Five running backs, 3 quarterbacks. None of them stacked. This is a 4 quarterback drafter. See, this guy's build is weird, but he at least is like, he's cognizant that he needs to fill in wideouts. This guy's got Puka and Sutton. Okay, I misspoke. Sutton is stacked with Bo Nix. Anytime you see me doing this, it's me just scanning up and down what every team has done. Some people get a little wigged out when I do this, but it's me just scrolling up like, what did you do in these rounds? What did you do here? And I go row by row. Trey Harris, okay. Yeah, I could see this team working out. I don't want to build many like this. So we're definitely going to take Kraft. And I like Herbert, but don't have him stacked. So probably going to just take Stroud here. Passing on Pacheco then. Passing on Bigsby. I might go Pacheco. Definitely Kraft. Yeah, you know what? This seems like a fine team to bet on Pacheco. I'm going to take a lot of running backs anyways. Let's pick 120. He still has upside, right? Like, People are penalizing him in the value market because he has downside, but still has plenty of upside. And sure, Stroud would have felt comfy, but I have a lot of quarterbacks late. Daniel, I wrote this article. It might even be free about top scoring teams. So you might want to check that out. I added an asterisk, so check that out. I'll be adding my data. I think you just have to be subscribed for this one. But yeah, go ahead and give that a read. Let's see that fourth quarterback or sixth running back. Both are terrible. Both are live. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one might be free as long as you have a sub. I don't remember. Look at this guy stacking Bo Nix. So our team so far: Joe Burrow, Ramondre Pacheco, Chase, JSN, Marvin, Olave, Pickens, Khalil Shakir, Christian Kirk, and Tucker Kraft. Right? For going 7 wide receivers and a quarterback to begin, I feel pretty decent about a running back team of Ramondre and Pacheco as my top 2. Could both be bad? Sure. Could both be their team's RB1s? Also, yes, right? Kraft, could he be tight end 1? I'm inclined to think yes. You got it, brother. And I'm going to add to that article with this year's teams. So obviously this year was different than the past 2 years, where the past years, really the teams dominating were usually RB heavy. Wide receiver heavy. But this year, I don't even have to look at it to know that the teams that drafted Saquon and Derrick Henry were at the top. In short, I can pull this up from the admin side. These were the common builds amongst top 100 teams. 3-6-8-3. It's always chalk good. 2-6-9-3. 2-7-8-3. Average positions, 2.5 quarterbacks, 6.1 running backs, 8.3 wideouts, 2.9 tight ends. The top 10 teams, 2-7-7-4, 2-7-8-3, 3-5-9-3, 2-6-9-3. And then in 2022, 3-6-8-3. Again, that's chalk good. 2-6-9-3, a variation, but one more wideout, one less quarterback. Isaac Garendo, who Davis used to not like. Definitely Tajay Spears feels good. And let's take the all-risk team. We're taking... we might go Goddard here. I like Goddard a lot. I was thinking about adding Dobbins with Ramondre and Pacheco, just loading up on the risky running backs. But I like Goddard a lot, Kraft and Goddard feels good at tight end. Probably chuck a third on just because I can manage it. Um, 2-6-10-2. This is a surprising build, but did well in 2022. Top 10 teams: 2-7-9-2, 3-6-8-3, 2-5-11-2. Then I showed you the actual examples of top 10 teams. So in 2023, the nuts was Brown, Lamb, Jacobs, Cooper, Lockett, Evans, Connor, Zay, Dak, H.N. Warren, Higbee, Stafford, Deontay Foreman, Leonard Fournette, Taysom, Ferguson, Kate Otten. Obviously, ending with Tank and Kyron was the nuts. In 2023, Jefferson, Tyreek, Brees, Kittle, Hurts, Jacobs, Sanders, Lockett, Garrett Wilson, Brian Robinson, Madison, Robbie, Chosen, Anderson, Corey Davis, Evan Ingram, Jerick McKinnon, Zach Wilson, Cedric. This guy missed several weeks of quarterback production too. Here's how the team's invested. So, yeah, I'll be updating this. Here's the frequency of players. I haven't written any articles yet, but I got a lot in the mind. Probably going to release them more in May as Best Ball Mania is actually here. So, yeah, find articles like this at beatbestball.com. Yeah, Pacheco either going to fire up some of my teams or burn me to a crisp. I mean, I've never been as high on Pacheco as other people. I just think that people like that he runs funny. But give me 1 second, guys. But yeah, I mean, round 11 starter potential, or if the Chiefs draft someone high, I could still see Pacheco sharing the load. Seems worth the risk, right? 900 yards, 800 yards, some good reception totals. Closed as a second round pick. Here's the thing about taking Goddard. It's like within a set couple picks, Bretton Strange goes, who I like as well, but that's pretty disrespectful to Dallas Goddard. Same thing with Pacheco, right? Like Tank goes pretty soon. Yeah, and I don't think signing why am I blanking on this guy? I don't think signing Elijah Mitchell and Kareem Hunt does anything to like actively change how teams draft. Well, there goes the Darnold idea with this 4-quarterback donkey. Let's see. Is he stacking at least? Ladd, check. McCarthy, no. Tyreek, check. Darnold, no. Yeah, I mean, this is not good, but people love doing this. Ooh. Rico and Ford? Doesn't leave me much at quarterback, but that's fine. I mean, this running back room of just 5 players, I feel pretty good about. Probably means I'm going to end up with 3 quarterbacks. Seeing how I got squeezed. Like, I might have to do some, like, Rodgers plus Dart room. Something like that, but that's fine. I know the rookie fever, there's no bad picks right now, right? Like Sampson, RJ Harvey, Giddens, blah, 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 blah. But Rico and Ford are probably going to be solid values. Rashad White, probably going to be a solid value. Ford in the same division as Burrow as well. So yeah, feel good about the team. Joseph Burrow, Ramondre Pacheco, Tajay Spears, Rico, Jerome Ford, Jamar Chase, JSN, Marvin Harrison, Chris Olave, George Pickens, Khalil Shakir, Christian Kirk, Tucker Kraft, Dallas Goedert. Any updates on Rodgers? I don't think so, but I'm just operating with the assumption he will be the Steelers starter. The thing is, all of those teams, Giants, Browns, Steelers, Saints, like all of these teams are very live to get Jackson Darted. I've seen some mocks have Dart at pick 9 to the Saints. So, that would really make things murky with Derek Carr, who just got paid a lot of money. Rodgers plus what's his face? Dart would also be very murky. So would Shadur with any of these teams. But yeah, really nothing you can do when this occurs, right? Because I think Sam Darnold is there a large portion of the time. Can't really predict someone just doing like 4 illogical quarterbacks. Or at least 2 illogical ones. Maybe he did it because he's watching both their streams and he's like, Davis wants McCarthy, so I'm going to take him. And Liam wants Darnold, so I'm going to take him. People do things like that. Anyone's trying to get a rise out of me, it's not going to happen. I've done so many drafts. I've seen so many crazy things. I don't care if you snipe me. Go for it. Smith. Heard a lot of good things about him. Feels quite good, though, to get Rico and Ford at this tier. Like Blake Corum goes within a couple picks. Jalen Wright, Braylon Allen. Yeah, and this is why the NFL is like low-key a rich gets richer type of system as well. Because teams at the top, they typically have to gamble on quarterbacks, Thoughts on Shadur? I'm pretty low on him, but it seems like other teams are getting low on him as well. So I'm kind of waiting for the draft. He's fine to mix in fantasy. He doesn't seem like he's a great fantasy guy, but if he goes 2, 3, 4 in the draft, I'll take quite a bit of him. But it kind of seems like he'll be closer to like 15 to 25. The day after the NFL draft ends, BBM will drop. Wow, Trey Tucker. So yeah, we will take Carr here. And Ollie Gordon is in the mix. I think we might just double tap quarterback though. I don't know. I'm a little uneasy about Carr. You know what? I think we'll just see who makes it back. We will take Gordon. And we'll see who makes it back out of that group. Carr obviously is the pair with Chris Olave. Do you try to limit your early drafts? Rough formula of like 50 early, 50 late, 50 in the middle. Probably put an article out for that. So starting to get some guys in here at running back. Gordon is the last of a tier versus when it just looks like this. Probably going to go 3 QB and 3 tight end on this team. I mean, Carr was really good to start the year last year in like a game or two. Yeah, just the thing I feel most uneasy about all of these guys, the Carrs of the world, is what if Jackson Dart gets taken at pick 9? But if you dodge that, like, no one could replace him, you know? Or what if Shadur lands there pick 9? Should probably go QB, tight end, running back, 3-7-7-3. I don't know. I just feel like I'm getting points at running back, so I don't really feel the need to go 8 there anymore. Same at wideout. I'm not going to take another wideout. You definitely could stop at a Joe Carr team. Like Joe Darnold. Darnold also has bench risk, but that would make me inclined to stop at 2. Ultimately, if Joe is just good in every game, you don't even need another quarterback. Shadur and Daniel Jones. Did this guy even take Richardson? No, he's just taking Daniel Jones. Okay. Masters leaderboard. Rose -9. Bryson -7. McCarty and M at -5. Danny Times is a top 5 quarterback, reported by Kadarius Toney. Dart goes. I would assume Rodgers is there for me. So I would take Rodgers if he is. Let's see. Where's the Metcalf drafter? Yeah, we dodged the Metcalf drafter, so there's not many other guys who could logically take him. Doesn't mean they won't do it illogically. Yeah, we will take Rodgers to pair with Pickens. All right, maybe what we're going to do is instead of taking a tight end, we're going to take Yoshivas because we have Burrow. And then we'll just take a random running back with our last pick. So Rodgers pairs with Pickens. Yoshivas obviously trying to double stack Burrow. Gonna go thinner at tight end with Kraft and Goddard. And gonna tack on one more Dart at running back. What scores week to week separate and make a player needed to have at each position? Does that influence who you pick? Yeah, so I mean, I would say like 40 points at quarterback is really the bar to be close to a needed to have. Um, 20 plus points at running back and wide receiver are very strong scores. 10 to 15 points at tight end. You know, would I like a third tight end? Yes, but I think this team needs a seventh running back more. Because even though this team could be fine at 6 running backs, I could see Ramondre, Pacheco, Spears, Dowdle, Ford all being really good picks. Kind of want a seventh there. And if Kraft and Goddard are just solid and don't get hurt, this team's fine at 2 tight ends and like a lot, so many zeros in this range, right? Like, okay, Arroyo might get the draft capital, Ferguson might, Taylor might, all these guys might, but you know, Kendre, I would definitely take to pair with Carr. Again, I just am inclined to think he's the RB2. Herbert could be the RB2. Gibson could be the RB2. Estime could be the RB2. Gainwell could be the RB2. Jaleel could be. Taj Brooks, people like. Isaiah Davis could be the RB2 if Brees is traded. Roshan could be the RB2. I've been betting on Diami quite a bit. Then you got guys like Singletary, Hunt, right? Like there's definitely value out there at running back. And there's probably just not a league-winning tight end amongst this group. Is there league-winning upside in this group? Yes, I think so. Someone. I don't know who. So I'm going to end with a 3-7-8-2. Joe Flacco? My God, dude. We're out here taking Joe Flacco? I mean, he's got Jerry Jeudy and Njoku. Still not something I would recommend, but people are doing it, I guess. Bengals bringing in a lot of running backs on pre-draft visits. Makes you a little bit uneasy on Chase Brown. That is true. We haven't once heard from this group. I've never heard of this guy. Ja'Cory Kroske Merritt by Mr. Iron Lung. This is a kind of a thin quarterback room. Stroud and Stafford could work. Stafford not even stacked. If it quiets the Kenny Pickett discussion, it truly is a win for us all. Wow. What a huge win for us to get Kendre. Just very logical to take him for my team there. pairs with Derek Carr. Kamara's old coaching staff is out. So we end up with a 3-7-8-2. Burrow, Carr, Rodgers, Ramondre, Pacheco, Spears, Dowdle, Ford, Gordon, Kendre, Chase, JSN, Marvin, Olave, Pickens, Khalil Shakir, Christian Kirk, Andre Yoshivas, Tucker Kraft, and Dallas Goedert. Got a lot of these teams with second tight end Goddard. Just need him to land somewhere well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I got for you today. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out beatbestball.com if you want rankings and strategy articles come Best Ball Mania time. Link to join the Discord is below if you want to talk some best ball as well. Hope you guys have a good weekend. See you next week.